Welcome everybody to PT Launch Lab. This is episode 13. I was start that again. I was just about to go, I'm Ryan, but what's fine. We've done that for Saturday. They don't know by now. They don't care. Hello everybody and welcome to PT Launch Lab. This is episode 13. Today we're going to be covering the pros and what we think are benefits to being a personal trainer. Also later on in the episode we're going to have Zac Meakin on, who is GT4 British champion. So I hope you all enjoy it.
Hello, mate.
How we doing, mate?
So what's happened over the weekend?
Yeah. Well, I think this is one of the first times we've actually spoke.
I know.
Since the fight, we've been crossing paths at the minute and both been taking it in turns with podcast and getting new guests on, which I've enjoyed actually taking that back seat. I'm sure you've done the same with, and actually watching his own podcast, which would be a weird saying, but...
Yeah, you tune into a podcast that you're part of.
On it.
And then you're like, oh, that's a good point. Just these nice catch up about it. But how are you feeling at the minute?
Yeah, good. Obviously, for anyone who don't know, I won my first fight. I'm fighting again in a couple of days, probably as this gets released, so everyone will know if I've won again or not. And then I'll have a couple more fights. Hopefully win the tournament, and then that'll make me Yorkshire champion. So fingers and toes crossed. I can do enough to do that. But yeah, it's very much overwhelming in terms of life absorption. So it's like family life, time in the gym, everything sort of takes a bit of an impact or like a back step. But the thing that's on my mind is a short period of time now, like a relief.
Yeah.
The more I just focus over the next 2 weeks, the better. Sounds very, very far-fetched, but it could change my future with interest towards the gym, interest in my own career, and hopefully get some more eyes on the gym, on the podcast, etc. So what about you anyway? The half marathon?
I know, I surprised myself today. I've still got like a couple of niggly bits, because the problem was I finished the race, and if anyone's ever seen the Great North Run, it ends in South Shields. And the problem is, if you parked in Newcastle, you've got to find your way back to Newcastle, which is a nightmare in itself. Like, because they have shuttle buses that take you back to Newcastle, and we're going to get on one of them. Nice and easy, don't you have to pay. Fantastic. The last shuttle bus to come into the junction, there was a very, very, very expensive Land Rover across the junction, and he wide-tailed it, took the Land Rover out, dragged it about 100 metres,
No way.
kept driving, and they had to shut the entire road off. So then, let's get a trade. 25-minute walk. I've just run 13 miles, right? And me running 13 miles, there's a lot more damage.
Can you remember when I'd run the half marathon? Obviously you came with me because we had the meeting in Durham, and it wasn't far from it.
Yeah.
We had a hotel, and I don't know why, but I chose to sit up floor for ages while we were pre-drinking for his night out.
Well, see, when I went with you, I didn't bring the cans. Well, the first thing you did was have a swig of beer. I was thinking back to this, right, on Sunday, I'm like, there's nothing I want less.
Drink a beer, right, yeah. You already feel tired. Right, mate, so, that's a good catch-up. In terms of the guests, I'm enjoying watching them. I'm enjoying having the guests on. We'll have another guest later on in this episode, which, again, I'm looking forward to doing. We've got a couple more in the pipeline. We've got another High Rocks, an endurance athlete. We've got a powerlifter / bodybuilder. Each one of them been into PT. One of them's been a PT, been an online coach, and then the other one's just starting his own coaching journey now as well. So great guest to be on. So anyone who's interested, keep watching. And again, anyone who is watching who would be interested in jumping on as well. If you want to tell your story, if you feel like you want to get it out there, or you want to get yourself out there personally in your business, then drop us a message. We'd be more than welcome to have everybody on.
No, yeah, 100%. And we want to hear everybody's stories, because I think what we want to try and build is a really big, like a data bank of stuff that happens in the PT industry, especially like even negatives as well, because it's, when you're trying to sell something, you always sell the benefits, which, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of benefits, but it's also good to hear some of the stuff to understand where we're coming from and what we go through. So yeah, if there's anyone out there who has an experience that you think could be beneficial for other people to hear, then yeah, let us know.
Awesome. So I think we'll start with the pros to being a personal trainer. So for me, mate, I'll take the lead on it. For me, a 9-to-5 job. So the only one time I ever did this was between gym jobs. So from school, I went straight to work in the gym in Pontefract. Just like not even a floor PT. I was just a fitness instructor at this point, going through my course, working weekends, no really massive qualifications, helping. But I was actually training people at the time. I didn't even know what a PT was, right? And I always just wanted to have guaranteed money and a wage at the end of the week, which we all do. As I moved forward, I ended up having a time where I had a month where I worked in a factory waiting for another gym job to come up. And for me, I mean, this is not for everybody, but hopefully the listeners that we're speaking to now, this will hit home more. 9-to-5 is not where I want to be. So what I've always wanted to do is be able to control my hours. Although I can be a workaholic at times, I believe working your own hours in control, and even though I can work, I'm not limited to earning a certain amount. So the security net might not always be there. But the main thing is, if I want an hour off, if I want a weekend off, anything is under my discussion to me personally. And I think that's one of the best benefits is being able to have your own flexible hours and work when you want to work as much as you want to work, and earn as much as you want to earn as well.
100%. And let's be realistic, you're going to work a total of maybe 90,000 hours in your life. And my question is this: would you rather do something that doesn't bring you any joy or doesn't bring you any satisfaction, or switch over to something that you're probably passionate about? That's why you're seeing this, that you're watching this podcast or watching this ad, is simply because you enjoy and love fitness. Now, there's a career in it for you. And my question is, what do you think you need to do to change that? We've had so many people that we've worked with before that wanted to make a change but didn't know how, and this is essentially what PT Launch Lab's here for. We're here to help you get to that point and feel confident transitioning. So if you're thinking about a career in fitness and you don't know how to get there, just speak to one of our advisors, our sales team, speak to one of us. We're always open. And it's mainly about taking the first step, whether it's clicking a link, hitting a button, talking to us directly, and getting on that journey to doing something you want to do.
And more so on that point, why not have someone to guide you through it? We've got a mentorship program as well, and we're going to be handing you their step-by-step instruction. We've got the blueprint to become successful personal trainers. Between us, we've got over 20 years of personal training experience on floor and online coaching. So what better advice to get them from PT Launch Lab?
Yeah. So again, even if you want to discuss the possible options, I think there's enough content on here as well, seeing different people from different aspects. There's plenty of different backgrounds. I mean, I spoke to someone who used to work in corporate, that she switched over and it was a life-changing thing, but it was for the right reasons. We got people from different backgrounds, different areas, and even if you think that you're not right to fit the role, maybe you don't feel like you know enough, maybe you don't think you look the part, just have us talk to us, because I guarantee you, all these conceptions that you built up in your brain, there's literally no limits to what you can do in a personal training role.
And there's so many ways around it. Not everybody is on the same path. Not everybody's in the same part of the journey. Some people are coming out of college. Some people have been stuck in the job for a lot of years. And the fear to move from your job, I understand. But why waste any more time? Because I promise you, once you do it, you'll wish that you did it sooner. And I feel like once you take that first step, like we've talked about in previous podcasts, create your own safety net first before you take the leap. Do it out of work hours and do it until you are secure. Create your own safety net and make sure you can do it with as least stress as possible. Try and just enjoy the journey, then no pressure, and you're doing something that you love, something that you're passionate about. You might have trained your entire life. You've got knowledge to share. There's even more things to learn, and you can be like you've just started again and really start enjoying work for as long as you want to work.
Exactly, and we've only got a finite amount of time on the planet. Why not spend it doing something you want to do? Yeah, I think one of the best things about choosing what you want to do, and it doesn't just have to be personal training, it could be anything you want in the world. It's about having that opportunity to do it. It's about having that want and need to actually be fulfilled, because, so like I said, we've said this before, some people feel fulfilled by just going to work, coming home, and that's it, because they make a wage. That's fine. If you're not like that, you'll know if you're not like that. You need something more, you need a bit of passion, you need a career. If this is something along your lines, it's worth trying, 100%.
Do you know what I've noticed as a common theme? So I play this game with with Maddie actually. So people who tend to compete have got competitive attitude, so they might do a high rocks, they might do a bodybuilding show, tend to be the ones that fall into coaching because they enjoy the routine, they enjoy the regiment, they enjoy the challenge. They then want to pass on their knowledge. They've also got a testimonial of themselves to say this is how it's done. They fall in love with it. They realise how much hard work, the commitments involved. They can appreciate the hard work, and they also feel like they can offer something. So we always guess when we see someone doing a bodybuilding show or started competing high rocks, which the next person's going to be a PT. So if you are that person and you are thinking about it and you're not sure which way to go, give us a message and we'll give you the first steps.
Absolutely. So, yeah, I think we'll wait for the guests to come in. So say a little bit about who's coming in, because I'm excited for this one.
So me and Zac Meakin have got quite close now. I've trained Zac for about 5 years. So Zac is a motorsports racer. So he's actually won the GT4 British Championship and is now moving into GT3, competes at World Championships. Is an absolute phenomenal athlete and an uprising star. And
how old is he?
I believe he's 18 now. He's team McLaren. So he's part of their team. As all the best drivers in the world, and now we're in that GT3. And I'll not mess it up and get anything wrong. I'll let Zac talk more into it. But yeah, what a great guest to have on him. I'm looking forward to speaking to him outside of the gym and getting his story out to everybody else.
Yeah, absolutely. And just remember, when we were all 18, we weren't able to drive McLaren. I think when I was 18, I was pissing in wardrobes.
So he's doing pretty well.
All right, thank you. Hey, welcome. So I'm not going to butcher it, but I'll introduce Zac Meakin. I'll not go through your titles, mate, or anything. We'll talk through that during the podcast. But if you could tell us your latest current sort of standings.
So back in 2024, I was the British champion in GT4 as I won the overall championship in the British GT. This was in a McLaren Artura, and we've now moving up now to the GT3s. Almost at the end of the season now, but I've been racing almost the whole year now in a McLaren 720 GT3 Evo.
Yeah, I definitely couldn't have done that. That made me sound even worse on the previous bit. So, we're probably just going to go straight from the start, Zac. So, either what made you get into racing, or just what it stemmed from, really. Have you always been interested in racing? Was it sort of like a decision of all kids sort of go from playing football or doing some sort of sport, and then you wanted to just try go-karting, or you tell me?
Well, obviously my dad was big into rugby, so he naturally pushed me through that line.
Yep.
Was at Cass Academy to begin with, started playing with them, and then still to this day, not sure what it was. Might have been the obsession with Lightning McQueen or something like that. So one day I came back after rugby training, asked my dad, I want to race cars. So after that, he took me to where the A1 football factory is now.
Yeah, so I'll just cut you off on that, Zac. So Zac just told me, so where I used to previously have a gym, if anyone's not local to area, so the A1 football factory in Pontefract used to be a go-karting place, didn't it?
Yeah.
And that's the only place I've ever go-karted once in my life, and it was there. And then X amount of years later, that's when I had the gym there, which I'd obviously never thought in a million years, but I've just found out 5 minutes before this podcast, like, that's the first place you raced, yeah, which is crazy. But so it wasn't like go-karting with your friends, all right? Right. So your decision to just go and you did it on your own?
No, I came back to my dad and went, I wanna race. So then obviously he didn't know anything. He was flapping about, trying to find something to do with it. And then I'm struggling to remember the details of it 'cause it's quite a while ago, but I think he found a friend who knew a friend, who knew Luca, Ayrton, and his dad that run the place before. And I went there and just had a go. Just thought how it was. My dad thought it'd be an era, but he sent me a few laps out. It'd be fine getting back on rugby pitch. But no, then I think the obsession started kicking off from there, like the enjoyment for the speed. And
did the obsession start because you were really good at it, though, at the beginning? Or were you sort of average, or did you take a shine to it straight away and then sort of like started dragging your mates along and started winning everyone? Or did you join, was there a club, like a team? I don't know how it works.
There was like a kids' time. I think it was on either Mondays or Wednesdays. you'd have like an hour for us just to have a go. You'd pay a certain amount and have a little bit. But I was pretty decent, to be fair. I won't blow my own trumpet. I wasn't the best.
Mate, don't be humble on here.
I was missing a few apexes. I wasn't perfect from the get-go. But then one of the lads there saw that I had a little bit of talent into it, and then told my dad, who went, let's get him onto the bigger tracks, step up from here. So I would have had my phone. I'd show you the first ever go-kart that I had. It was a little Honda Cadet. And yeah, everything started from there. Going round, got used to the speed on the inside track. And then we ended up going over to the proper tracks, as I can say. Started at a track called PFI, Pontefract International. That's a good track, and that's where I did most of my races from.
And how long did you spend in go-kart then? How old were you when you started again?
I started when I was 7.
No,
because that was the youngest you could get
Well,
into the.
And so how old was that from when you moved from go-karting into an actual car?
Well, it took me 7 years. So I did 7 years in go-karts all the way up to when I went into Ginettas.
Yep.
Which is like, that is the bottom step of becoming into this car.
Oh, the Ginetta Juniors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be fair, mega series for everything. You drive probably one of the most difficult parts, but then after that, you basically got the hinge for driving everything after that. Of course, they are so loose because they're on road tires, not race tires. So the difference is with race tires and stuff like slicks, you've got no grooves over it, so it's just a big contact.
Right.
So you get more grip. Where the road tires have like knobbly parts onto it, and when they get hot, they start rolling over each other.
Right.
And when they roll over each other, it generates like loads of movement in the car.
Which one did? Because I've been training you since you were like 14. So
yeah.
If anyone didn't know that as well, yeah, still training Zac. I feel like sometimes when I'm talking on these podcasts, that everybody knows everything about me, but I'm hoping that people are watching it who don't know me. But we talked about this before as well. I think it's just so mad that obviously you've been driving for years, and obviously you didn't have a license.
Yeah.
So you can drive better than your instructor when you start learning, which I just think is just so funny. Like the setup, and obviously it's different, but I'm sure. But it's Ginetta Juniors that I get to watch them, wasn't it?
Yeah, you came in to watch a few of them, and then also the British GT one at Donington. But yeah, started in them, and it was pretty fun. Did 2 years of it, and then moved up into the bigger leagues.
Yeah. So so that's where. Not so what you're at now. So was that the best year? I know we had one of the years. Was that when you had the trouble with the Porsche? Was that the year before you won the championship?
That was the year before. I had like quite a lot of technical difficulties with it, which was strange because we did the Porsche Winter Series before.
And you won that as well, didn't you?
Won 4 out of 4 races, qualified first and won the rest. But then all of a sudden it just got to British GT, and then the reliability of the Porsche just went downhill. I think we DNF'd pretty much every race until Portugal in the big
I can remember going through it and having conversations with your dad in every morning in the gym, and obviously it was quite a low point for you, wasn't it? Because we were training hard, you were doing everything you should have done. Everything from turning up to the gym every day to doing your simulator at home to doing your runs, and you were doing everything humanly possible to be at the peak of performance, and the car was letting you down. So
yeah, I was doing everything I possibly could, and to be fair, that took quite a big hit on my like want to race.
Did it?
Constantly just showing up, and like you do your practice, do the qualifying, and all of a sudden that's it. Cars broke down. You're home on Sunday.
No, I get what you're saying, mate. At any point when you have a season like that, does that ever make you not want to do it, or is it just something that?
Yeah, it got to like, I think it was the 3rd or 4th round in after we broke down, and I just said to my dad, I went, "This isn't fun anymore."
Yeah.
Like showing up, we'd do really well in qualifying. Like we'd be like, right, we're up there. I think I qualified P3 or something, and then all of a sudden you get to the next day and go to start up, and something's wrong with it, and like that at that point it's just like what you're supposed to do. But that is motorsport though.
Yeah,
it can go from being the biggest highs to the lowest of the lows, and to be fair, that was shown with the year. We had a really low year in the Porsche, and then all of a sudden the year after, my redemption year, I went and won it. Which is like, it went from the lowest of low to the highest of the high.
And I think that's like in most sports, the time when you do want to quit and when you step over that bit, that's usually where you get the best result in it. But it's
Yeah.
just weird how it works in that way. Like, it's a weird curse on the universe where you sometimes the strings of bad luck lead to. So obviously you were then with McLaren, and that opened up a different window to a different team, which might not have happened. So it's crazy how it all works. But obviously I've seen you through them rough patches, and we've never stopped training during them periods. But then seeing you to win it, like from the outside looking in, let alone being part of the team, and even more so being in the car, to go from being so frustrated when the car's letting you down, you know it's nothing to do with your driving, but then to come back must feel even better. You know, like I spoke about in another podcast, the comeback stories are just, in the end, I always feel like your life's sort of like a book, in it. You know, like imagine if someone read your like autobiography after.
Yeah.
That's what I'd make it what it is. You know, the setbacks, but then coming back to win, and I feel like it does make the story better. At the time, it's horrible, isn't it? But I feel like now coming through it, I just thought I enjoyed the celebrations as much as anybody once you won.
Definitely, like finishing that season in where we were was massive highlight. Like it proved what I could have done last year.
Yep.
If the car was good, like the Porsche was good, it was quick, but for some reason we were just unreliable.
Yep.
And then as soon as we got to McLaren and like having the win at the back-to-back win at Silverstone 3 hour and Donington 3 hour, it like everything from that, it's like, oh, this is better. This is better. I can't describe the feeling.
Yeah.
But it, like, how proud it was to just be back up where you know you should have been the first year.
And because did you win much with the go-karting as well, or how was it set? Because I'll let you tell me about the go-kart. But what I think's quite confusing, which I did with the Ginetta, is you get punished for doing well. Is that right? So you get
only in the GT car side now.
Oh, is it the GT? Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, so back in the Ginettas and the go-karts and stuff, you didn't.
Yeah.
It's only in this to make the championships closer instead of like in F1 or someone.
Yeah, so just
every race back to back.
So yeah, let's digress back to the go-karting. Then how did you get on with your go-karting? Did you win?
I won a few bits. I think the first year I won Novice of the Year award, which was nice. Won a few bits and bobs. Got fourth in the British Championship once. I wouldn't say I did it the best. I should have took it a lot more. Like looking back at it now, I should have done it a lot more serious.
Yeah.
Than what I did. But it was
you
still
wouldn't want to know at the time, though, would you? That it was going to be his career. So
back then, like little 12-year-old me running about, going round in a go-kart, it was mega. But you didn't. I took it serious.
Yeah.
But I wish I myself took it a step further. Now I've matured a bit more, like I have done with the GT side. I'm there now to try and take the leap even further forward.
Yep.
So that's what I'm trying to do.
And I'll just so then I'll come back to the other point now, mate. So just for anybody who's not aware, so because I'm obviously still new to it, I still learn things every single day. Talking to you, talking to your dad every morning. Time. So there's so many variables for like depending on the weight of the car, or there used to be time reduction or additions if you come in a certain place. So do you want to talk?
So like that? In British GT, you'd start off the season, you'd have something called BOP, which is Band of Performance. This basically evened out all the cars, so there wasn't one that was faster than everything. Everything is all in a small. Is that
including the driver's weight included too?
Yeah, so there'll be like a minimum car weight with it, and you'll have to reach that weight, and then roughly it'd be 85 kilos both drivers, and then you'd add that, and that would be added on to reach this total car weight. But if you were over it, you could take a little bit of weight out of the ballast side in the car to make sure you're always at that weight.
Yep.
But then if you like won a race or something, you would get a 20-second penalty for the next race.
Yeah.
So it would make it even more difficult for you. So like first place would get 20-second penalties, second place would get 15, third place would get 10.
Yep.
So it's not, it goes down, but it's all about always the consistent finishes.
Yeah.
It's not about winning every race all the time.
Yeah, because again, we've had this conversation so many times because I never understood it. But I can remember when you actually got the 20-second penalty, but then you still won the next race, which I just thought, how would you do that? Yeah.
That was, to be fair, mega job between me and the team. Everything. We won Silverstone 3 hours. I think it was by 1 minute and 40 seconds, almost a lap. Our engineer did mega calls in the race. We was all good. And then going to Donington, we were like, oh, right, boys, we're going to like finish 4th or somewhere because of this 20-second penalty. And then it gets to it, the really tricky conditions at the start. Going to warm up, we're all on slick tyres. Then all of a sudden this massive cloudburst of rain comes out of nowhere. Changes the race into a wet race. And it's like the variable that we had before is gone completely out the window, and it's out just to see what the best we could do. I think I overtook quite like most of the grid then.
You're probably better driving in the rain. Is it because I've talked about it with your dad? So, well, you just think because you're fearless in the rain, and also though, I don't know if it's a risk-taking thing or confidence in your own ability, but when it comes to the rain, people seem to be a lot more hesitant or I don't know. It's hard to say, but every time it seems to come to rain, I'm sort of like, obviously it's more dangerous, but every time it says it's raining, I'm like, well, we're probably going to win it.
Well, it was a bit strange because I never was like this before.
Yep.
I was decent in the rain in the Porsche. Like we polled, when it was good, we polled the Silverstone race by 2.2 seconds or something, which is a big gap. But in the McLaren, for some reason, when I was doing the winter series, all of a sudden one day it just clicked. And then ever since that, I've been like one of the fastest kids all the time in the rain.
Yeah.
I don't understand why.
Yeah.
It's just ever since that one day, I've always been there. I've always been pushing it.
I think like anything, though, you create momentum and confidence. Like it's same say when if I was boxing, a couple of wins on board, and same as it starts raining, you've also got, it's sort of like an extra confidence shield around you. Like you think, I know I can race in the rain, and then going into it, no problems, touch wood, keeping it always consistent through your rainy drive, then it sort of makes you feel confident moving on to the next one, doesn't it?
Well, when we were racing at Spa in the McLaren Trophy, I got invited to do one of the rounds of the GT4 because the driver had to pull out. And I'm like, I haven't been in a GT4 car for a year now. It's like, I've been in a GT3 and a trophy car, which have a lot more power. So let's see how it is. And I ended up finishing second.
Yeah.
So it's like, I haven't lost anything with my
like
ability.
riding a bike, right?
Yeah. Just going around, cruising around, and then all of a sudden on the radio, it comes over, he goes, well done, Zac, you P2. I'm like, oh, I haven't lost it yet.
I always struggle to keep track. I watch every race. Like I always watch you on the live on YouTube, and anyone that is interested in watching Zac after this, we'll post a link for, the British GT? Is that just the YouTube that you can go on? Because I just mine's already saved all the time.
The British GT was what I did last year. Yeah. So yeah, that would be if you want to watch last year's videos. But I'm doing GT Open now,
right,
and McLaren Trophy. So they're both on YouTube.
My algorithm is like planned for it. So now, as soon as I click on, yours uses the race straight when I type anything to do with GT. Your race is like there.
Yeah.
Obviously, because I'm subscribed to all these different racing ones now, which I never thought I'd do in a million years. But what's your goals moving forward then, Zac? Obviously, you want to be competing, but this factory driver, just elaborate on where you want to go, what's most interesting. Are you sort of open-minded to the way it might go? Have you got a plan?
Well, it's kind of, you can't really have a plan. I'll do my best. If I make it, I make it. If I don't, I am going to be disappointed, but I will make it. That is what I will make it. But yeah, my dream would be to be a factory driver for someone. But my biggest dream would just be to do a hypercar 24-hour race around Le Mans, which is like the pinnacle of where everything is in GT world. So that if I could do that and complete it and win it, that would be one of my biggest dreams ever completed.
Oh, that's cool. So explain to everybody what a factory driver is as well, for anyone that's unclear.
If anyone don't know what that is, it's like you would get paid by the manufacturer to drive their car. So, for example, I race for McLaren now. I've got a mate who's a factory driver for it, and then McLaren choose where to put him and what to put him in.
Yep.
And then he would get paid for that. That's what I want to try and get to. So it's difficult because you've got I know in the racing world, there's not a lot of people, but there's thousands of people trying to reach for that one job that you want as well.
What I think as well, though, so even if they didn't come through, which I believe you can go all the way and do whichever you choose, but there's quite a lot of options, isn't there? Again, I'm always learning myself, but you can also be like an instructor. And also, on that note, the amount of technicality things that in the races yourself, when you sit and show me game plans, and like you said earlier, we engineers we're making these tactical moves, and it's just absolutely like mind-blowing. Like you study every single corner, don't you?
Yeah.
When to brake, when to turn, when to do this, when to...
It's a little bit of like feel and like remembrance. Like you'll have a little sheet that I have at home, little notepad, and it's like, oh, this on basically a baseline where you want to be every time. It's like, oh, this is your braking point here. You can turn in at this point, throttle at this point. It's all like little bits, and they all end up clicking into your head at one point. So it's kind of just automatic response. But sometimes I also drive the car a little bit through feel. So instead of looking just for these certain points, you feel how the car is behaving. You feel what it's going to do.
It's almost like a guide till you get on there. I know you do a lot. There was a lot of the game planning. Obviously, you go and do your tests as well, but is some of it sometimes simulator stuff? Or...
Yeah, so the sim work basically gets the track fresh in your head, so you know where you're going round.
Yeah.
So you do that just to like prep your mind, like, right, this is where you go and this is how the track layout is. And then when you get there on the day, you've already basically got your references and everything for when you're there. So it's both two things which merge together, which help.
Yeah, I think that's cool, mate. And also, you passed your test, and then you were like going straight into instructing, but you were that young, you couldn't even be an instructor straight away, could you? Is that right?
No, because I had to have over a year of driving on the road, and then also
that's what I could never get my head around it.
Race TV. But yeah, I've passed my instructor's license now. I'm just trying to find a bit of work.
Yep. So there's a couple of ways you can go, mate. There's not even... Obviously, you want to get all your goals. You want to do the dream races.
Yeah.
You want to be a factory driver again. No reason why you can't do all of them things. You're in perfect place moving forward for it. You're already a champion. You're doing brilliant this season, and I think there's only more to come from that. There's the instructing side of it as well.
Yeah.
And on top of that, you're going through your PT course, mate.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
That's actually going through his PT Launch Lab certificate now, so his level 3 personal training. Midway through it now, chipping away. It'll be done within the next couple of weeks. Get his certificate done. What makes you interested in the PT? Is it just another string to the bow? Is it something that you've always been passionate about? Is it, again, just another lead? You like to have that as a nice tool?
It's kind of just like another part of your, like, tick box.
Yeah.
Like, you've got your resume, and it's like, oh, he's now qualified for this and that. So it's like, when somebody looks at it as like a, big broad sheet, they go, oh, he can do this, he's passed this, he's a qualified PT, so that means that I can have him train me as well, so we can train together to become better race drivers. This is if I'm getting paid by an AM, which is basically an amateur is someone who pays for the car and would pay for a factory driver to be with them.
Yep.
So like we could train him together. I could be making him better, and then I could be making him better in fitness wise and on the track as well.
Yeah.
So then, therefore, our performance will increase in the races.
I wonder how many people are actually a PT and an instructor like that.
Well,
that's got to be more rare, though, isn't it? Surely.
Yeah.
Surely that's quite a niche, that, isn't it?
There's a few race drivers which train with the people who pay for them, and it's kind of more like a social thing. It's just like they're all pushing each other as far.
Well, you're a team, aren't you? If you're sat in a car with someone, you want to be able to trust them, don't you? So
it's definitely quite a big team feel in the race in the racing industry. It's good.
I think you've just got so many different habits. To say you're so young though as well, you're already setting yourself up. So it's not like, I mean, you don't need the fallbacks, but you've got so many different options. And because that's what I love about you, you're just so open minded with opportunity as well. And I say it all the time is that every opportunity could lead to something that you're unaware of.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the opportunities you don't take, you'll never know. So just to keep adding these things and being so young and already doing this and already doing that and already having them under your belt, I just think everything you do from now is just an addition. Like, you've already done so much. I know there's a couple of other things that to be don't know if it's a bit factory driver or better for the instructor, but I can't remember which one. I get them mixed up. Where you need to tick off a few certain races.
Yeah, that's for the factory drives and stuff like that. Like you need to do 24-hour races, which I will be doing next year, and just stuff like that. So it's like you've done all the forms of racing that there is. So they look at it and go, "Oh, he's not inexperienced. He's actually done this, and that." It's like an extra.
It's just like it's just a driver's CV, and it's almost like if I were going to a job when I was younger as a PT, and I said I've got my level 2, I've got my level 3. That's what, and then obviously for you, they're like, well, what has he done? What experience has he got? Right, he's won this. He's done this 24-hour race, and trying to do shorter races, endurance races, or whatever it is, that you've ticked every single box. And I think again, he's just so young. Like so much time to tick all these things off. I feel like he's so ahead of the circuit anyway. And the new generation of drivers, like you compete with people who've been for 10 years.
Yeah, well, we're competing now against all the factory drivers and stuff like that. And well, touch wood, we're not doing too shabby. We're 6th in the championship, I believe. Yeah. So we're doing quite well.
Awesome, mate. Well, so what we'll do, mate, we'll wrap it up. I've really enjoyed talking to you, mate. If you want to tell everyone your Instagrams,
if
social medias, whatever.
If you want to go follow me, it's Zac Meakin Racing on Instagram, and I believe it's the same on Facebook. I can't remember, to be fair.
I think it is, mate. You know,
yeah. Feel free to follow me on there, and then same on YouTube as well. And hopefully you can follow me through my journey.
Thank you. Everyone, remember, like and subscribe. Thank you.
See you in a bit.